Welcome to drivenmavens.com, and I am Arvind Ramkrishna, spelled just like it sounds. Anyway, we're going to continue on with the next lesson on how to draw cars. Now, if you had purchased the DVD set, this is a perfect, I would say supplement to your videos. But the last video that I had put out on the website was to talk about building primitive shapes in perspective, and now we are going to continue on with fleshing out this vehicle. I drew a couple of vertical lines here on the front wheel, and the reason I did that so I can kind of judge where the headlamps are going to be, because they have to be forward of the front wheel. Not all the time, depends on the kind of style you're going for. And I've got now a gray marker. It is just a 30% gray marker. I always start off a little bit light so that I don't shock myself with committing to a particular line or a curve that I'm not sure or very confident that I want to keep. I mean, even this I would say is pretty dark to start off with, but I always sketch pretty loose, and as you can see, I'm just putting in or adding a little bit more of an angle right to that A-pillar, to that where that windshield is, front windshield is. And what I'm going to do is, I'm paying attention to the perspective lines that are, you can see them. It's a little bit light. It's hard to see on the video in itself because I did have to sort of color correct the video so we can make it a little bit lighter. My lighting was not optimal here in the studio, so as I start to flesh this thing out, I'm just using, by the way, regular copy paper, nothing special. You can use marker paper if you want. That means you can just cut your marker paper to size and then copy it, and it takes the marker really well. But this is just regular copy paper. I'm starting to lightly put in my details here. We've got a fog lamp here in the front. And as I start to put these lines, what I want you to understand is how I make sure that these lines are matching up with the perspective line. The perspective is really important to nail down when you start to practice drawing these cars. Perspective is one of the most difficult things to nail down. And that's why you have the templates to start off with, but I would encourage you to get rid of the templates at some point and try them out on your own. They're just a guide to check to see whether your ellipses are correct or your wheels are correct when you first draw them freehand. You can overlay your drawing and correct it, once you start to practice and sketch. Now I've got a basic character line. The styling of this vehicle isn't great. It's just more in line with what you've seen in your DVD set to kind of keep everything consistent, but it's just a normal character line that goes to the side facing of the vehicle here, and then I'm adding just some different shapes. There we got the rocker panel, and then just adding a little bit of a depression there. As I go through this, I wanted to show this in real speed to show you how I initially sketch and the speed of my sketching, but we are going to go with the time lapse here pretty soon so that you don't spend so much time looking at this. But this is just at the beginning intended for you to see the speed and how I start to indicate some of the details. Now we've got just I'm just lightly shading in the grill pattern there. Nothing too fancy. And let's see if we can speed this up. Now I've got a 50% marker. Now I'm going to start to define my details a little bit. So I've got my center line section that I've drawn very quickly, and I'm going to start to add a little bit more value, which is what I did with going with the 50% marker. And I'm going to start defining these shapes out a little bit. And then I'm going to go back with a pencil. This is a Verithin pencil or something like it. Maybe it's a Prismacolor pencil, but I'm defining that section. It is always important when you start to sketch vehicles out for you to have some fundamental knowledge as to what these shapes are going to be doing. So to do that, it's always important for you to think of these things as sections. That'll help you define the shape, help you define how much depth there is into that shape. Okay, and once again I'm going to go back with my 50%. As you can also see, my wonderful black hair coming in the way. At least I don't have a lot of gray hair yet. But it's coming. I've got kids, so that's what happens. Anyway, whatever. Alright, so back into detailing a little bit the fog lamp here in the front. With that 50%, I start to indicate a little bit of the shadow. And then I'm going to draw in my center line as well. I'll reinforce it, the center right there too, again. And then we're going to just add a little bit more value through the headlamps, the front, and then I'm just going to just fill in the grill pattern area there. As you can see right here, as you look through this, it's starting to come together a little bit for you. Now we're going to speed the video back up. I'm going to go back with my pencil. We've got the door cut line. We're going to add another surface detail that just starts to come out a little bit, so I'll add that. I'll show that in the section format here. And I'm going to lightly just cross hatch that area. Now let's see how well I can make this ellipse. Yeah, this is the other thing that's a bad idea. I mean, the templates are good at the beginning, but the problem with it is you feel a little constrained to hit what you're seeing, but you always seem a little bit more free-flowing as you start to draw these things on your own without any templates and guides. But like I said, I mean, this is all included in your printable templates in the ebook, so at least you can get some use out of it at the beginning. This is all more or less beginner's course. Alright, now I'm going back in with a number 10. Actually, we'll probably run on 90% gray. Now I'm defining a lot of these shapes. Now you can see how as I start to darken the value up, there's a lot of attention that's going on. It sort of brings your eye to the highest contrast area, which is what I want to do. And I'll probably accentuate that as I start to fill in all the areas where the wheels are. Same thing with the spokes to kind of pop out the positive shape along the wheels, and then indicate the tire tread. There we go. Starting off, as you start to create your own sketches, I would encourage you to not even get into color. Just stick with grays. Stick with the, probably the best investments that you can make is purchasing yourself a set of gray markers at the beginning to understand that value range. So work with grayscale first. Get yourself a set of grayscale markers. You'll be good to go at the beginning. Now let's look at the other sketch that I did the other day. The differences are minor. The wheels are a little bit different. The fog lamps, the grill, Headlamps are slightly different. Sketch above looks a little bit like Jaguar, I guess, a little bit. So I hope this helped. We will see you here next time on drivenmavens.com or howtodrawcarsnow.com.